Hi everyone, this is Eric with VBAHowTo.com, and I'm coming at you with a video about how to how to take your Excel pivot table and make a Crosstab query in Access. So we want to upgrade this pivot table to Access, and I got this here example while perusing a certain site, and now I'm not going to do these other ones, but I could pretty much the same thing would apply, but here if I look at this is a example of a pivot table, and notice how it's rows then columns, okay, and then values here, and if I click in an area, I should get the enable editing. Should allow me to view what the source is of the pivot table. So, okay, so it does. So, anyway, that's the most important part of this, is I want to know what the source is. So, I go over here, and my face is in the way, so I'm going to move myself. Over this area right here, I see the pivot table fields. At the top of my screen, I see data and all this other good stuff, all my options here. If I click on an area in the pivot table, I should pull up a there it is. It should be analyzing my I should see where my source is. Okay, I'm looking for the Analyze tab and change my source data. So when I click on that, I should see, okay, where does he come from? Again, I'm in the way. If I look at this string right here, it's saying, I don't want to mess with it, but raw data. If I okay, do I see a sheet in here called raw data and 515 raw data? Okay, so cool. Actually, it takes me there. So I know by looking at that and kind of inferring, and maybe it takes me to the exact place, but this looks like if I have just unformatted text, and if I have column numbers, everything in the one big column, it's very boring. Very boring. I like it because I know that they're probably using this data as a source for these other pivot tables, and they have all these other ones have pivot tables too. Okay, so I'm gonna go through them, bang, bang, bang. But I know that's my source data there, and I'm gonna press my Control page up, and I'm gonna go down here again. Just for fun, I really like seeing this. Just kidding. So anyway, I'm going to take this table right here and import it into Access. And if you go to VBAHowTo.com, I go into detail about how I go ahead and import it. But since I've already done that, I'm not going to do it in this video. I can show you via I'll probably put in the link below in the description below. We're on the blog. There's actually 2 posts that kind of describe this, but I'm going to the nitty-gritty by this video here. Stuff that I can cover, and just you'll probably get new stuff on there. TBL Time Master is a table that I import into. Notice that when I go here, I can do external data, and I can do new data source. This is Access 2016. Excuse me, from File, Excel, and I can import that file and then the actual sheet in that file. So that will actually work, but it's going to delay, it's going to drag a bit. Let's see if I can get out of it by pressing escape a lot of times. And I did. Okay, I saved myself. So this is the table I made out of that data, and I just kept the field names the same. Notice that it's 361. This is not secure data, or else they wouldn't have put it out there in the first place. So anyway, I want to take this and put it into this format right here, this pivot table format. So step one, I'm looking at my pivot table. Step two, I'm looking at where's my source data. I take it and I put it into a table. You're in Access, and if I want to add to it or modify it, I want to discontinue the Excel thing, I can go ahead and do that. I can just start to enter the data via a form. Okay, enter the data in here. I can make it cool looking, put some drop down boxes, have some other tables and stuff, but we're gonna keep it simple. Okay, so I have basically I'm doing this. This is a proof of concept, and so I have my time. This and this query right here. Again, if you go to vbahowto.com, you can view it. I'm going ahead and filtering, kind of like what they did on here. I do my filters. Notice that the pivot table fields, okay, they have this as a field, group, hours, job code 1, job code 2, and that's all that's checked. So all my query has are these same 5 fields: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's pretty cool. So, and on here, notice these funnels. Okay, these funnels are filtering out the group. Well, let's see what group is filtering. Hydraulics and VMod. And that's about all. So it's filtering hydraulics and VMod. So that's what my query is. If I go to design view on here, on my query, hydraulics or VMod. And again, these are just standard. I'm sorting on job code 1 just because it looks like they're sorting in job code 1. And when I run it, I'm just getting the hydraulics or VMods. Notice my record set down to 78. Cool. So now if I go to, okay, I probably could do this in my Crosstab, but not, mainly because I like to do it in 2 parts. It's just easier for me to understand. Me, I like to do it in 1. I think it's too complicated, so I like to keep it simple. Here, job code 1, job code 2, the pivot tables, crosstab queries, pivot tables and crosstab queries both have 3 elements: the rows, the columns, and the values. Rows, columns, values. Okay, so 3 things. If it gets you complex, like I've made it in the past, if it gets too complex, you may want to just diagram or write it down on a piece of paper, because your mind gets jumbled with all the things you want to think about and you lose focus. So write it down on a piece of paper. Take a note or a napkin or whatever you have to write on. But so here, these 2 fields right here. Okay, let me show you the design view of those. This is my query. My query, which is that 5 fields. The table, it had like, I don't know, 11, 12, 15 fields, something like that. But this limits it down to 5. So it's workable. Make your, whatever's hard, make it small. Okay? The saying goes, how to eat an elephant, 1 bite at a time. So I like to use that cliche and just make it as small as possible. Make the problem as small as possible. So anyway, I'm going to take a job code here, okay, and I'm grouped by, and it's going to be my row heading. Those are the totals with these row heading, column, and value. So, and but job code 2, notice I have blanks. If I just use plain job code 2, I'm going to have blanks. Well, if there is a blank, I'm going to just call it blank, because that's what they have over here on the pivot table. Blank. I want to read out blank instead of just having a blank cell. Just try to do it by job code 2 field, and I renamed this field job code 2 _ mod just to differentiate. Job code 2, and if it's blank, make it blank, and that's a nifty thing that Access has. This NZ function. It's very good. Okay, and then along the top, the payroll ID, and those are going to be by column headers. These items up here are the names, okay, column headers. So I have my rows, and I have all my column headers. And if I wanted to bend a certain order, I could go ahead here. Let me pull this over here in the view, somewhere on the screen. Column order. I can bet my column headings like this is just for sample purposes. It doesn't mean anything. 1, 2, 3, and then I can look at this. I can run it, and I just have 1, 2, 3. It doesn't know what 1, 2, 3 is, so it just says forget about it. I'm just going to give you a blank because it doesn't know what you're talking about. So it thinks you're crazy. So anyway, if you want a certain order, go ahead and do that. The question may arise, well, what happens if your fields are always dynamic and they always change? Well, like if you want to put it in a report, well, you got to print up your own column headings, or you got to have your own table. You got to make your own table all the time. Okay. Again, leave your questions in the comments below if you do have some. Hours. Okay, hours is going to be my value, and I'm going to count up the total number of hours for each of these individuals for the job code, for these job codes, and I'm counting up the total number of hours, and I'm formatting this without the decimal, just with the 1. Okay, the real value is 0.5, but the value I'm showing is 1. And since it's below 0.5, it's going to show me, if it's below 0.5, it shows me 0. If it's above, if it's 0.5 or greater, it's just the math that you probably learned in grade school. And let's see if there's anything else worth noting here. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I think that's it. So now we are getting closer to our goal here. This and this. Okay. Now we have it in a format which we could use. And now, no, I don't want to save Jesus. Now I'm going to, hopefully I can do this without stop my video. Oh, okay, good, I can. So I double click. This is my report. Okay, in my report, and I always like to do preview. It opens up a report view. And here's my report. And notice how it looks really similar to this. And notice how I have the vertical text on here, and I have the one group, the job code 1, job code 2 is in its own group, and I have the number of hours here with the total number of hours, and at the very bottom I have a grand total. And I have blank here, whereas this blank. Okay, great. And I have zeros. Okay, TMI. A lot of information here. Let me go ahead and okay. Look at these labels here. These labels are vertical text. Well, if I go here, click on it, right click, and choose properties. Look at what my setting is here. I have a vertical. This vertical. If you look at display the text vertically, you gotta down here in the bottom left hand corner, you're gonna get a control tip what each of these settings do. Control tip tags. Okay, look down there at the bottom left hand corner. Key point. Okay, I want this to be vertically aligned, and I'm doing that. Otherwise, if I don't, it's like that. Okay, horizontal. So vertical. Now if that's very cool. Here I have a group. My group, my header. Look down here, job code 1 group on job code 1. Okay, and I have these fields right here. The fields I'm going to do. This is summing up each one of these. This one, all the way through. And it sums up each one. Okay, then I have some, I like to call these different names just because their own individual names, because otherwise it's too confusing. It's confusing. You get a bunch of noodles and you try to figure out, oh my gosh, what belongs to what. So I don't like to leave it as like text 21 and text 41. Like some ambiguous name. I don't like that. So here I'm actually naming it a name I can remember and understand. So I could say JC job code total 2, job code total 7. And then here I have my NZ function, and because okay, sums don't work if it's not a number. It doesn't sum up blanks, so it'll just ignore them. So I make it, if it's blank, make it a 0. Make it a 0. Now you may also wonder, well, what about on here? How'd you get the zeros? Because if you looked at the Crosstab query, you may have noticed that some of the values will show up. So I don't want to display zeros. I don't want to display blanks. I want to display a 0 if it's blank. In times past, I've been able to do the zeros with code. It's been a real complicated process. But I just found out, I thought about it more just recently, and I learned that this would work a lot better, and actually it does. Oh, some of the earlier versions didn't have it, so you couldn't do this. But here, if you format it like in Excel, Excel has this custom formatting of numbers. You have 0, semicolon, 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 0. Which means it shows 0 if it's blank. And then my decimal place is going to be 1. So if I don't have that, I'm going to go ahead and show you. If I don't have that, I'm going to get a lot of blank spaces. You see all these blanks? It becomes really, really messy. I really don't want that. I want to see the zeros. Okay. Oh. So I'm going ahead back here. And I'm going to Control Undo. Okay, so that's a real serious point. And just is past experience. Excuse me. Okay, I'm summing this up, but my total, I'm going to use the NZ function because I know that my empty values are not going to calculate, so I'm using the zeros. Even though I put the zeros in here, I format the zeros, it's not the real number. So if it is blank, I'm going to have a 0 there because it doesn't read the zeros. They're a format. So here my actual is, here my actual calculation is going to be a 0. Okay, I'm being more specific here. And I'm doing that with each of my groups. At the end, I have a total sum, so it's all good. Okay, and there I have the end result. End result here. So that's how I do my Crosstab and make it, or how I take my pivot table and make a Crosstab table out of it. And I could do that with, I could expound upon that and make each one of these sheets doing the same type of thing. But I'm not doing that this video. You can do it. It's doing the same thing over and over again. You gotta piece it together. Do a little bit each day if you need to. But anyway, coming out to vbahowto.com, and you can see the post and also get the database I'm using. Because sometimes you want to go through it a little bit slower. And again, if you have any questions, comment below. Make sure you do not, I repeat, do not subscribe to this video, to this channel. Sorry, and don't like this video. Okay, don't like it. Anyway, you have a great day, and will talk with you. I'll talk with you soon. Bye.